I was ready to run. I was
I
terrified.
guess what we can do is, I will get all the information and everything from Tim and, make sure everything's set, and we'll give it a month.
I call you something.
I'll take back the treasurer's information. Everybody, is that okay? Nobody's interested in
Susan, would you
running.
like to be treasurer? I'm not quite sure what it entails.
Basically, it's the treasurer is the person that, looks after our money situation, the Fidelity Fund. There's not a ton of paperwork, but it can be, stressful because Fidelity is difficult to deal with. We haven't been able to get everybody's name on it, who belongs on it. And we have a treasurer's report, and the treasurer at that time lets everybody know how the money is doing in Fidelity. You'd also be asked to write a check for the scholarship fund. So you're basically in charge of the funds that the trustees have.
If you would work with me for a couple months to see if it's something that I would be able to handle, I'd be willing to do that.
What do you suggest in lieu of
I
that?
think maybe give it some time for you to take on. I think it's a big position, given that accounts are still messed up with it.
Okay.
As I recall.
Well,
The accounts are not in line.
The problem is that we have to get people's names on.
Right.
And the sooner we do
Tim's
that,
never gone on, correct?
I think Tim may have gotten on.
I don't think so. It was only you knew Stankus is name.
I think he said he got on the bank, not Fidelity. I think that's what he said.
Well, I'll check with him and see.
That's
get
how I
that.
recall, that is a problem.
Well, there's a problem too with the fact that they weren't getting my name on there either. The problem is when you change positions every year, Fidelity is very difficult paperwork wise. And he felt that he had finally gotten the paperwork all down and set. So I will check with him.
Yeah, as I recall, even George's name never went on it, and he thought it was on there. We never got on there. either.
All right, so we'll hold the treasurer's position now. Susan, I can talk to you about it at some point.
Okay.
You're welcome, Maria. Bills have all been signed.
I didn't know if that big top package.
No, you don't have,
Okay.
that's the one that signed by mistake.
All right, we need to do, moving on, we need to approve the minutes for the trustees meeting that occurred May 8th. Does anyone have anything?
I actually would like to, I'd like to commend Stephanie again for their concise minutes. And I would like to point out that on page 2 at the very top, you misspelled my name. Allison has 2 L's, which it does everywhere else, but not there. Oh, and number 5. I also had a question about the word mandatory.
Are you asking me?
Yeah. I know you kept using it. But I don't think it was mandatory. I mean, it was requested and suggested and advised and hoped for, a lot of good synonyms. But
You're having the open meeting law training, correct?
yeah.
So that was by council, as part of their decision. It was the trustee, the board of
what did
trustees.
Yeah.
It was, they said mandatory for board of trustees members.
What if a person couldn't make it? Because I think I'm sure
The recording, you can go and.
is that part of okay. It's not up. I've asked Jackie for it.
Correct, it's not up yet. So once it is shared, that link is shared for the board, I will be passing it.
Okay.
Anyone couldn't.
Okay.
Or like to rewatch it, some popcorn.
But otherwise, no, they're really
Madam
great.
Chair, if I may,
Yes, please,
open meeting law, the Attorney General's office has a comprehensive open meeting law training on their website, which most cities and towns prefer their with and committee members too,
Mhm.
so anybody can go on and watch that.
I did take the one you, had
That's
last year.
That
No, I had ethics, but we also did an open meeting law one.
was 2 years ago,
Was it 2 years ago?
and based upon the, if I may,
Yes, please.
based upon the Attorney General's findings, it's a finding against the board and whole.
Oh, from
So
the
you are
last
married
one, yeah,
woman. That is part of it.
gotcha,
Every member, they don't say no.
gotcha. No, I'm always.
Beyond the one, beyond the one that was on the, is it the sixth?
You did that.
Yeah, so, but that-
You weren't part of that funding.
Oh.
You weren't going to do. No. Just
Okay, yeah.
a point of clarification.
So Loretta, you'll send us the link when it,
Once I have it.
keep looking at.
Absolutely.
And I can certainly send it on to
Great.
AG's comprehensive
that's fine.
training.
Well, I'm more interested in the one for the town of Middleton, so rather than a generic one.
It should be the same, right? It's the same.
Well, law is the law, so
Right.
it's not really. Other than the audience questions, that's.
Right, and that, I'd like to see what the boards in Middleton are looking for, but I'll wait for that. That won't be long.
Well,
I
the
hope.
woods in Middleton are looking at the same thing that the woods of all cities.
Okay.
Looking at it all in the law.
I think you meant the piece, the questions that were posed.
The questions our town asked.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Eileen. Thank you very much. Does anyone have anything else?
Interesting.
Does anyone have anything else? And the meeting notes
On the minute. No.
and the minutes, I'm sorry.
That's okay. No,
No one has anything else. I'm happy to make a motion to accept the
Please.
minutes
I'll accept
with
the minutes
with the edits.
Allison added her name.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. So, moving on. Annie can't make it tonight, but I am going to read her email. All right, so the Friends of the Flint, Annie Welton, like I said, she can't be here tonight because she is on the master plan committee, which is meeting tonight at 7 o'clock. So this is what she wrote. Helps if I have any glasses on, sorry. Here are my updates. The annual campaign is at $21,237.52, which includes $132.75 from the Texas Roadhouse fundraiser. Thanks to all who ate there or did take out. The Friends provided water and snacks at the FAST annual town meeting. It was fast, it was amazing. Our two baskets, the Friends have two baskets for raffle. It's underway for the month of June. And the tickets are selling for $5 each or 3 for $10. And just a reminder that the Friends don't meet in June, July, and August. And that's it for Annie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Annie.
I think that's a wonderful report that we should think of doing every month. I think that's a great way for Annie to update us. I appreciate that.
That's a consent agenda, right?
That's a consent agenda. Yeah.
I read up about that.
All right, moving on, trustees report, mandatory OML training on Tuesday, June 6th. We've already basically talked about it. 3 of us had gone, 2 of you will get a report.
Mhm.
Great. So we want to go into reviewing policies. Policy number 44 is the workplace civility and respect policy.
Mhm. And I'd like to pass this out. I'll give you a copy too, Stephanie.
There you go. There you go. One of us would take it.
So I attended. May I speak? This
Yes, Allison, please.
I attended the Mass Library Association conference, not only representing the Massachusetts Paralibrarian section, of which I am the past chair, but I am also on the board of the Mass Library Trustees Association. So I wore 2 hats, basically. And I was able to meet with the director of the Mass Library System. And she asked me to give her a call, and she asked me to please call this young lady, Christy Chadwick, who ran the program, Why So Rude? Incivility in the Workplace. And so I did. And I had an extensive conversation with both of them. And they asked me to please point out to this board and to you, Loretta, that this Why So Rude program was geared to library staff and did not focus on the board of the Friends or the board of the library. So I wanted to make that point because in the edits that I submitted to you on this policy, I pointed that out, and I think that was a big piece of the discussion that we had last time. That this policy cannot, it's an internal policy, and they assured me that it was meant to be an internal policy. I did talk with 10 library directors. I think I wrote down the towns, but I don't think that matters. If you don't believe me, I can certainly find the list of the towns I talked to. Oh yeah, here. So, and I also went online, and this is an internal policy, and I only found one library whose library director felt that in order to build teamwork in her staff, that this concept that Christy Chadwick and MLS has put out is for the director to use in-house with her staff, and that it was not intended, and they took my comments and said that they will make sure that in future programs that it's very clear that it's meant for staff.
It does say staff 3 times.
Yeah. That's why I handed it out so everybody could
Yeah.
see that it
Thank
says
you.
staff. And that if you need guidance and more information on what this policy is used for and how to develop one, Christy Chadwick is more than happy for you to give her a call, because I know you sat in the program with her, but you did say to me that you had worked with her and she did not recall that.
So I asked questions specifically in the session.
She mentioned
It was
that.
very much a collaborative process. So that's why it was an in-person training. It wasn't recorded.
Right.
So we worked together on, all libraries there. We all kind of worked together in a group to draft policies, ask questions on drafting policies that are suited for, our organizations and our missions as libraries.
Yeah. And I agree with you.
Library here,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
So when we're looking at building sort of this inclusive, like you said, we're all part of the same team. It's not just the staff.
Right.
We are board of trustees. We are a friends group. We are our patrons.
We're the population of Middleton.
Correct, exactly. We are our residents.
Right.
So, we have already in place the code of conduct, which sort of is for our patrons visiting the library. But this is a way to say, we are all on this team. This is the way we move forward, how to do it respectfully. So it's not just for staff, yes, it covers staff.
Well, this is.
But it's for everyone.
This
We're all part of this same professional community. So I'm sorry, go ahead. You can finish. No, so to have everyone be involved on this, I think is important.
I want to hear what Erin has to say before I.
So I understand that this is for the
And
staff,
that's a course that Loretta participated in. I just wanted you to realize that.
who's the library director.
Yes.
managing staff.
No, that's how she derived the policy.
Oh, yeah, that's where she got the policy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if she's our director
Mhm.
and she'd like to make a policy like this,
It's,
then we can choose to support or not.
We can choose to support correct policies. But this policy, which is number one, from 5 down to 3 pages. This policy, Loretta doesn't have the authority to mandate, maybe Jay Tallerman can mandate a training, but you don't have the authority to tell the board what to do. Now, that being said, you don't have the authority to tell the friends what to do. But that being said, I want to say that I absolutely respect and applaud your efforts to ask this board to work as a team and to be communicative and to do things that are fair. And I'm sorry that tonight has shown that that is not going to happen. That's unfortunate, but I respect that you put a mission statement up on the wall to try and get this board to recognize that we're all working towards the same goals for the betterment of the library. And I wish that the rest of the board would listen to your pleas, because they really are pleading with this board to come to work as a team rather than in an adversarial role, as we've shown at this meeting already.
Excuse me, how have we shown being adversarial? By voting against you?
Not
Are
against
we-
me, you didn't vote against, well, I guess as vice chair.
Are we not allowed to vote how we feel and who we're comfortable with?
In fact, for a chairmanship, no, this isn't really a vote. It really is a consensus building issue that we understand that everybody deserves a turn. And we all work as a team to give, as Maria had said, everyone a chance to see what the position requires, to be a leader in the group and to fulfill all the other positions. And I think that the way you handled the voting for chair and officers was not a team building exercise. It was not meant for the best for this group, and it will not lead to the best for this group, unfortunately. But I do respect that Loretta has so tried to pass that message along, and this 3 to 5 page civility policy is an example of her expressing a frustration and a need to convince the board of friends and the board of the library board of trustees. Now, I think she also put a lot in here about issues to do with her staff, and that's something that we were all supporting and helping her with. I have no problem with a wonderful civility project policy for staff and internal policy. And as I said, of all the 10 library directors I talked with, and I can tell you all their names, including the presidents of MLA and the past presidents of MLA and the director of the Mass Library System and people at the Board of Library Commissioners, they all do not put these policies in place. I don't know any library that came out of here and put a policy in place. And the one library that told me that years ago, they in fact put a civility project policy in place was for staff. And it has helped to create compatibility and communication with the staff.
Allison, may I ask, did you ask if those boards have members that are filing against other board members?
Absolutely.
And do they?
They have very contentious boards of library trustees in some libraries. We are not the
Jeff,
only
they
one.
put a wonderful policy in place.
The fact is, Erin, that Loretta doesn't have the authority to tell you how to speak. You have a personal ethic, and we are going to be taking an ethics, but I don't think that's exactly what this means. But you have a personal ethic to speak kindly, as you say to us, to speak kindly. I find that we all need to take our own advice when it comes to that. And certainly I very, very much speak with the idea in my heart that I don't want to offend. Sometimes it's hard information that has to come out, and sometimes there's a fact that has to come out. When I wanted more money for the selectmen more money for our programming, I was quite frankly caught off guard that my fellow board members did not work as a team with me to make that happen. And I'm happy that the selectmen saw fit to help us with money for programming, and I feel very proud that I accomplished that.
Alexander, we did not, it wasn't that we weren't supporting that.
Okay.
What we were doing was realizing that we need 2 full-time staff people.
Mm-hmm.
And the fear is by adding things like the programs and stuff on, that we would not end up with those 2 staff people. You can't run the programs if you don't have enough staff.
That wasn't gonna.
And the friends get the money.
But that was a supplemental.
The Friends don't get the 5,000, that goes right into our budget, that's not Friends money.
Right, it's not the friends' money, but the point is that they do a very good job of raising money. And I, for one, didn't want to jeopardize the fact that we may not get those 2 staff members.
You don't jeopardize it, that's a supplemental budget,
If
and
I
it
can,
wasn't jeopardized.
sorry, if I may, if I just could bring it back to the policy.
Yep.
Going back to the agenda. So this policy, thank you, Allison, for your points, but I would like to speak for myself. This policy was drafted specifically for this library. Yes, I'm the director of the Flint Public Library. The policies I recommend, again, these are just recommendations. Of course, the board can vote them down or vote to approve them or amend them how they see fit, but this policy was drafted specifically for the needs that I feel the Flint has. So if that means trying to, nothing in this policy is telling you how to behave or how you need to, nothing, everything's already been outlined and identified in your role as a trustee by ALA.
Then if it is, you don't need this.
It's one place for people to go to get the information that they are, because not everyone understands. So again, I'm not telling you anything that isn't already information that is given to you. I'm not telling you to you have to paint your toenails red and come wearing a goofy hat. Like that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, as a trustee, this is what you're already aware of. It's just a helpful guide to working together as a team. But all facets of the library. I would love to someday see a liaison from the board of trustees sitting in on the Friends meetings. We are all one unit working towards this library. We make it successful. We can either make it or break it, folks.
I've heard you, I hear you, I definitely hear you.
That is all that this policy, that's the intention behind this policy, is to get everyone working together.
This policy will not accomplish that,
Again.
Loretta.
Again,
It's a step in
it's
the
a
right
step in the right
direction.
direction and hoping.
No, I disagree.
And
So
it's not insulting in any way. It's
Okay.
like telling you how to run our.
I don't understand why this is so upsetting, or why
It's
you're.
not upsetting,
Or why you're.
because the board of library trustees and the Friends of the Flint are not under Loretta's purview. You can't be telling elected officials what to do. We do, as you mentioned, we have guidelines as a trustee. This policy goes against that.
She's not telling us what to do with this policy.
Absolutely.
It's telling me, making suggestions.
Then what, this is a policy.
No, policies are
Doesn't
not
say
just
this is
they are the way the library is run.
It'll hopefully give me no authority.
And the title says workplace. This is, we don't work here. We don't work for you.
So we said we can take-
You support
I
the
don't,
library.
just by taking one word out there, it doesn't change it.
We are all part of the professional community for this library.
Loretta, the basics is that I wish you would please call Christie, because you misled me to tell me that you had worked with her on this, when in fact you worked in a class. I get it, you worked in a class, but you did not work with her, and if you had contacted her and sent her this 5-page policy, she would have told you just what I'm telling you, and I think that's
Policy was based off a 2 samples that she provided in the class. So, and I'm
and
happy.
it does do those, I'd like to see those. Yeah.
So,
Aaron, I'd like to know if those policies and
You're
samples,
making accusatory statements. Please do not do that.
I'm not making accusatory statements. I'm simply stating what happened. And I'm also saying,
And-
I'd like to see the drafts, because I don't believe trustees or board of the friends is in those drafts that she
Allison?
sent you.
Allison,
Mhm.
this is Loretta is the director of the Flint Public Library in
Mhm.
Middleton.
And I'm a trustee of the Flint Public
Correct.
Library.
So if
I'm the
this,
boss of Loretta, like you're the boss of Loretta, like Susan is the boss of Loretta. As well as
and I also support Loretta.
I
And
do
if
too.
this is the Massachusetts library system, then they can do what they want. She can take pieces from this, but this is the Flint library. And Loretta is making a recommendation and we can choose to support her or not. I'd like to take a motion.
Okay, go for it.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the workplace civility and respect policy.
We cannot accept something that.
I'd like to make a
obstructs in a
motion. Do I
way-
get a second?
I'll second.
We're just gonna
Thank you.
vote 3-2, so I
It's
mean,
democracy.
no, it's not democracy. The point,
We have a motion and we have a second. We need to vote on this, to accept this.
I just want to say that before we vote, John, I know you've been motion today, that was looking at the deliberation and I didn't speak to it at all for the most part. I just think, as I said, it's the same thing I said in the last meeting when you first brought this up.
Yep.
I think it's a very slippery slope and you start doing these kinds of things that Loretta is trying to do. I understand he feels as though her heart's in the right place in doing that, but I think this is a slippery slope to bring in the board of trustees, elected officials into this policy of a workplace civility policy and the Friends of the Flint. You're gonna turn people off with this kind of stuff. It's hard to get people, as you know, to commit their
and you
time.
can't uphold it. You
And
can't, there's no way. Erin,
Excuse me, Allison.
I'm sorry, I apologize, Sonny.
Maria, continue.
No, that was, it
I
was fine. She was, I'm fine with that. I'm used to it. From
Please
my background,
continue.
people can all jump in at the same time, so
Please
it's not,
continue.
I'm not offended whatsoever, Donna. Thank you, though. And I just feel strongly about this, and I made that clear the last time. Just accepting everything just for the sake of accepting doesn't mean it's right. And I think that this is wrong thing to go. We're going down the wrong path of putting in elected officials and the Friends of the, the Friends of the Flint in the policy for a workplace. We are not a part of the workplace. We have our own guidelines, as was made clearly, that are right here that I have here to show you, and everybody has the handbook that we have, the trustees handbook. We know our roles. We're very clear on our 6 roles. That was part of candidate tonight, and I remember that because I said them. And I just think it's just a wrong thing to go about. You're making a huge mistake, and I think this should be, I believe this should go before, we talked about this, and actually, you're making me remember, because I forgot about it till this second. Tim, at the last meeting, said it should go before council. This should be read by a council, not just to be for us to put forward, because you're bringing in other parties that are not part of the staff here. I think it's a mistake. It should go before council to be read.
All of our policies should go before council. Tim also made that point.
They are, and they are. They're all-
So-
I think we were tasked with taking this to council.
That's right. That's what you said.
As a matter of fact,
Yeah, you've done
in
that.
the last meeting, you were tasked with doing that. Have you done that?
If that was, I apologize, if that is not my notes, so if that was tasked to me to get this draft. That was bumped to the next meeting, so I
And
don't
also,
remember that, I
right,
apologize.
and also remember the
Advice.
disclaimer
The disclaimer, that's already gone,
to council? Did
It
you
was,
ask them about the
um,
disclaimer?
Tim and I tried to do that from the time before, Laura. I think it was a while.
one moment, I'm trying to recall a name. I apologize.
Of the attorney?
Elizabeth
No,
Gardner?
No, so I'm working with, Jackie at Town Hall, and who was working on that? I apologize. The intern's working on getting all of the policies over to council.
Oh, well, that's good. And then that's where it should be.
The intern
Come
So
back
the
to it.
draft was not part of that review.
Oh.
So this draft, it's only policies that have been voted in by the board.
And this
So-
is, it's a new policy,
Right.
so it
So this
needs
one's
2
not.
votes, it needs 2 meetings.
So again, that was not in my notes.
We didn't vote the last time, we said to push it forward and talk about it.
But I was hoping that by the time we had the conversation, Loretta would have come back to us with the information on what the town council said. Something that you can't enforce, something that you can't hold people to. I think that.
That was
council-
Tim's words.
Yeah.
That was Tim's
Was that
words.
Tim's words? Okay, maybe that's what's
Reminded
sticking in my
me, sorry.
head.
And may I make a point too? And Maria, you said this was gonna turn people off. if
So I
someone,
wanted to talk about that, I didn't finish it, yes.
do you want to finish?
No, I could just finish the statement, but I'm sure you're gonna say what I was gonna say, that it's so hard to get people to run for boards. I've been doing boards for years. Eileen, who's sitting right here, asked me to jump onto the housing authority because she didn't have a quorum. People weren't running for things. People don't want to run for things when they see the things that are going on at elections and the bad things that go on online and Facebook, as we all know. So the more you do this kind of stuff, you're not gonna get people coming to the library, not meaning, excuse me, to run for a library board trustee or help you at the library. I feel strongly about this. I can't express how strong I feel, because I don't know how more to say it. It's wrong what you're doing. It's completely wrong to put this forth like this. I understand already you're thinking and maybe your heart's in the right place, as I said a moment ago. I'm sorry, Aaron.
I'm not going
No,
to continue,
oh,
please.
so like I get interrupted like I did candidates night. As long as you don't make vomiting sounds.
Maria,
Well, it was pretty bad.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Stop. Let's
That's
stop
okay.
the condescension.
We're talking about
Continue what
civility.
you
Excuse me,
said.
Donna, Erin's interrupting again, and you just saw that. It really triggers me when she's doing that again to me here. It's not right.
And yet you're not triggered by Allison. Isn't that interesting?
Allison, was not-
Please, no,
she's shaking her head,
Please.
making sounds at me.
please.
I don't
keep going
appreciate
with-
that.
With what you're talking about, please.
Well,
It's not a competition, Donna. Erin and I are on the same page.
Allison, I can speak for myself. Thank you.
I'm sorry. You've forgotten your train of thought.
No,
You're
I'm not-
More like me.
No, actually, no, Donna, it wasn't. No, you're fine. What do you mean? You're perfectly capable of doing your mind as I am. I was trying to think of the best way to finish it. But I feel as though it goes nowhere, to be honest with you. I can see that as we're going forward here from the minute we started to now. Getting this kind of stuff is very, very burdensome, and I feel like I'm wasting my time.
So my take on this is it did not get sent to the lawyers, and correct me, Loretta,
This has not been sent to the.
because it's actually not a policy yet. So I think we should vote on the motion. If we do one vote to have it go into the policy system, then it can be sent. And then we can work on it again the next month.
I don't think it's
It's not a given.
No, I just feel, Donna, that there are so many irregularities and issues within this policy that cannot be upheld. And also, I see a great deal of sentences throughout in which Loretta's guidelines encourage people to come to her directly and not to go to HR. And then at the very end, it contradicts itself by saying, of course you can go to HR, because we know, of course, you can go to HR. But whenever possible, an employee should address incidents of incivility towards them directly, with an individual responsible. Employees may seek advice and assistance from their managers and or human resources directors in matter of civility and civility. All parties have responsibility to act in good faith. This is an attempt to guide people on who they can go to when they're upset. And in the end, at the bottom, it says, normally incidents and complaints and workplace harassment are reported to the manager. However, in the event that employee is not comfortable making a report to their manager, the employee may report incidents or file a complaint of workplace to a senior manager or human resources director. That's in an employee handbook already. That doesn't need to be repeated. And of course, anyone can go to HR to report an incident. They can bypass their department head, their coworker, their assistant director, or their director, and go straight to HR. And this policy can't be a workaround to try and prevent that.
In no way does it do that.
It doesn't do
But at the same time,
May I make a point?
Sure.
I don't interrupt.
No, absolutely.
When town council was here talking about, when Elizabeth Leiden was here and she was talking about complaints, she was saying, try to resolve them internally before.
Was that an
going
executive
outside.
session?
No,
Okay, was that in the meeting?
she said that to us.
I'm a little confused, and I did ask the Attorney General's counselor of the day about this specifically because it confuses me. Donna was cited for the serial deliberation against a violation of open meeting law, and yet, how can I talk to Donna or you or Susan or Maria? How can I talk to you without violating open meeting law? I haven't figured
If
out.
you went to, when we went to, we went to the open meeting lot, you can talk to another member, as long as you don't have a quorum, you can talk to another
But
member.
there's serial deliberation. The minute I talk to you about it, and then if I go to Donna about it,
So just talk to one, choose one person, as long as it's not a quorum. So we are a board of 5, you can talk to me about anything you
but
want,
what if you and I don't come to a satisfactory conclusion and I feel I want more information?
then you can,
And what if you then say to Donna, oh, I had a conversation with Allison,
I wouldn't.
but that's what happened. It's happened already
Right,
many,
but
many times.
Right, but I
I-
just went to the training once.
It
And-
happened, no, you were called.
Okay, but we need to,
It happened
we need
once.
to end this.
You're
Excuse
making
me.
accusations,
It's- the
go ahead.
accusatory-
Susan.
I think we need to take a step back and to me, workplace civility is anybody that's involved in the workplace that has some, so I don't know what the word is, power, some whatever. And I think these guidelines are maybe trying to encourage everybody to work together a little bit more. And if we're not going to, I mean, this is just saying people need to treat each other with respect and dignity, and that's whether or not it's me coming into the library as a trustee or the friends coming in, and you don't, because you have some authority as a trustee, or the friends have some power because of, you know, their support of the library. I think this is just asking, trying to take back some of the incivility of that's been going on, and not, you know.
Would you consider, Susan, that this was uncivil discussion we've been having here?
I am like tense like this.
But tense, but uncivil. Has anyone said anything?
Well, I
Uncivil.
think there's a lot of history.
Stop.
Yeah.
Please.
So,
Yes, and the AG has told us
And-
that there are
and-
violations. Yes, you're absolutely
and
right.
it's, but to keep bringing that up is, you know, it's in the record. So can we go from this point on and not keep hashing over the past? Because now we have to start from today. I mean, I'm new here.
Mm.
I mean, I've sat at some of these meetings for the past several months, but I'm new here, and I think that we all should work together. And I have been on a board, and the person that's been the chairperson has been the chairperson for several years. So, you know, I think we need to, like, this is a democracy, and votes are taken, and the votes that stand are when there's a majority. And you might not agree with it or disagree or agree, but it's the board that makes the decision, not one person. So that's,
Thank you, Susan. There's already a motion on the floor and it's been seconded. And the motion was to,
Did you two discuss this prior to coming into this meeting?
I'm insulted by you saying
That's a
something.
simple
like-
As am I.
I am
It's
insulted.
a simple question.
I'm insulted. It's not a simple question. It's you trying to decide whether you're gonna file a complaint against us again.
Well, if there's a violation, you know I'm going to file a
How
complaint.
many times do I have to get slapped?
Still have
to
two
know?
complaints.
It-
I
How
think you
often do I
guys,
have to get
excuse me, I'm gonna stand up just for a moment. I think it's important that I stand up right now, that you both.
You don't want to be in the middle. Is that what you're telling me? You're the roads between the two thorns?
I didn't
Okay.
think of that, but I just think that it's getting a little too heated, both of you, and I don't want to see that from either of you. I think it would be a good idea if I could ask, Madam Chair,
Please, ask
could we
away.
take like a 2-minute break?
Yes, let's
I
take
think it
that.
would be a good idea at this moment for everybody to do that. I'd appreciate that, if we could do that.
Let's take a 5-minute.
Have a room break or whatever you want.
Let's
to
take
call
a
it.
5-minute recess.
Okay,
All those in favor?
all right, thank you.
Allison, why don't you shut your recording off? You're in a recess.
Yes. Okay, so we do have a motion on the floor that's been seconded.
Can you repeat that, please? I don't remember the motion.
Can I just say one thing? Can we, if we pass this, does it then go to the lawyer
Yes.
to look at it to see, and then we come back again and go the second time? Is that the way it works?
It can still go to the attorney before we vote on it.
Most,
Eileen is saying, yes, it can.
something so
We
contentious.
don't need to make the motion and vote on it. We can ask that it go before council.
Madam Chair, what is past practice?
We've never had them.
We haven't had this situation before.
Well, we've had new policies, but we never had a question with council.
We've never sent drafts to
Okay,
council.
so what did council?
So we haven't sent this.
That's my advice. That's what I
The
asked
past-
last time.
Yeah, the last meeting, we asked her to please go to council about this.
So those are all voted policies that are gonna go to council?
That all the voted policies went. I didn't think that this was something that could go because it wasn't.
Vote, I mean, why could town council through that
Right,
if it's.
if it's not passed. Right, it still has to go for a second vote. Stephanie, by any chance, can you read the motion back to us? Do you have it? No,
Evan made a motion to accept policy 44 and you second.
I accept it. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
Okay, so now we can send it to council. Thank you. Let's move on to policy number 31. This is again a new policy. Anybody have anything that they want to say about it?
Yes, I do.
All right,
Loretta sent me both of these policies to work as we do usually to edit.
Should we look at them kind of?
No, I just want to make a first statement. And it took me a while, then we both went on vacation, so it took me a while to realize that these are not existing policies of the library. And that I have edited them. I did not send my edits to Loretta, so the versions you have are not yet edited, but I explained to Loretta that just like the civility policy, she came to us at a meeting and said, I would like to draft a civility project policy. And I just want to let you know that this is going to be coming down the pike, and these are the reasons why I feel it will be helpful. And she justified her reasons. And then she brought us the policy. So I said to her, if these are not policies that are already on being just re-edited, you can see they both even just have the one date, they're new. And I've again done my research, looked at what other libraries are doing, talked to directors about them. And I said to Loretta, I think you need to come to the June meeting and say, I would like to write a displays policy and a program policy. And I think that I can justify to you why we need 44 policies, why we need these extra policies. And once she gets the go-ahead from us, to then come to us with this and give me a chance to edit it with her and work on it to make sure we don't have to waste our time in the meeting doing that. And she disregarded what I asked her to do and came to us with fait accompli. As of yet, I have not thoroughly discussed these with her, which I would love to do. So I just want you to understand that my perspective is whether these are needed or not needs to be discussed first before we can wait till next month to say, now that we've decided, then bring thorough policies to us that you've worked on and that are in more of a final form. Yeah, I just wanted people to understand why I don't think these policies should be reviewed tonight yet.
Because they're new and hasn't been brought.
We
to our
haven't even
attention.
decided if our library even needs more policies, and we don't even know why Loretta wanted them, but much less to have one in front of us.
Maybe, if I may,
Yes, you may.
maybe Loretta can tell us why, because these two are kind of similar in a lot of ways. One is about displays and one is programming, but I see the content is, pretty similar. But also under the display one, Loretta, it says, let's see, I'm sorry, the first line, or I think it's all one line. That first line talks about this being under the policy number 14, excuse me, collection development policy. So that's one thing I was wondering, isn't this already encompassed within policy 14?
No, so this policy talks about displays, obviously, it's in the title.
Displays, yes.
Correct. Of agreements.
Excuse me.
Would you like a bottle of water, Donna?
No, thank you, though.
Book displays that we have in the library that are in that kind of clause at the end, so that statement at the end of the first sentence saying that the collection is comprised of items that are purchased.
The first paragraph you're looking at, or the second, I'm sorry.
Correct, the line that you're referencing,
Okay.
all of which have been purchased in alignment with policy, our collection development policy, number 14. So it's just stating that the books on display have been added to our collection in alignment with policy number 14.
Okay.
Why isn't this just then part of policy
Yeah.
14?
Why don't we just incorporate?
Because policy number 14 is about collection development. This one is about displaying the items. So, you're all very aware of the climate that we're sort of in right now. A lot of libraries are getting targeted. So, several directors, we've all kind of been in this conversation of what do we do to kind of protect our displays and our programming, which programming is sort of covered under policy 32. If we want to combine them into one policy, we can certainly do that. I feel they have a little bit more strength as two separate ones.
Did you
but-
just say, I'm sorry, Loretta, I didn't hear you clearly. Did you say about potentially combining 31 and 32? Is that what
I
you said?
mean, you could put them into one policy 31 and 32 and just have it be displays and programming. There's a lot of similar wording as we mentioned, but to me, again, I agree they work better
Yeah.
separately.
Yeah,
Can you tell me that if we're obviously as a board going to decide that since she's written them, we should read them and edit them? Can you tell me, let's take the displays one first. What's your point? What lines in here are the lines you really want the public to understand?
I'm sorry, you're looking at policy, which one?
31.
One?
the display one.
It's pretty short and succinct, it's like 3 or 4 sentences, so really everything in there is intentional. I don't think there's much room for cutting.
No, I'm not suggesting cutting. I'm just asking you, what in here was your point? What did you really want the public to understand about our displays?
There's a chair here, Jackie, if you're looking.
There's one behind here, Jackie.
The displays are promoting our collection.
That's what you want them to know, that the displays are promoting our collection.
But that's what policy 14, it seems like you're trying to cover your bases from what you're just saying based on the climate, as you said. By saying that the last paragraph that kind of got me is that the display of dissemination materials in the library displays does not constitute town sponsorship or endorsement, nor does the absence of titles reflect non-endorsement. I mean, it kind of goes in circles.
That's what we asked you to take the disclaimer stuff, because Tim was saying that disclaimers don't hold validity.
Right, so again, these are policies that I've spoken with other directors, these policies, all three that you're looking at tonight are very much, we're sort of leading the way with these policies. Not a lot of libraries are doing this yet, as Allison attested to you. We're in uncharted territories, you know, with libraries, as of late. So directors are kind of talking about, you know, how do we sort of give ourselves some protection against those challenging our library mission. So the wording in this policy was actually pulled from
Bloomington.
Ellen Rainville from Westford. So we worked, you know, MBLC libraries, director.
This is word for word Wilmington's policy. You
Well,
can cut and
mine is-
paste it off the website.
So we all borrow from each other. We don't reinvent the
Of
wheel.
course, I have no problem with that.
So, but I didn't get Wilmington. I was talking with MBLC
Mhm.
directors. So this one came from Ellen from Westford. So she had emailed it to the directors list and I borrowed it from her. So,
Just seems like how many I think it'd be important that you come to, that's what we did with like the civilians. You came to us and told us you were looking to do a policy. And we thought about it and said, okay, look into it and come back to us. But I think it's a lot to come and just hand these to us and make us make a decision on them.
and I'm happy to do that going forward. And I wasn't trying
Well, I
to
think-
disregard, but I had already sent it out to one board member and you are all one board.
Then
So,
you sent it to me. as-
correct, one board member.
Yeah, because we always work on them
But
ahead of
that's
time.
common.
Correct, but as policies that are already established. So, you know, like I said, we're shared with one, I wanted to share it with all. Again, it's up to the board on content of a policy. I can recommend, and that's what I'm doing right now, is recommending. So. Because other directors we're all kind of brainstorming on ways to sort of protect intellectual freedom and the right to read.
And I'll say, I play with Loretta, the director of our library, brings a policy, or I think it's important. I think it's appropriate to bring it at the meeting to talk about it.
Absolutely.
That's without giving us.
But that
heads up.
That's a procedure. That it's just supposed to come to us first, then. That's the procedure. Yeah, just like the civilian.
No, it's not.
Not necessarily.
That is not a
And
procedure.
so-
That's in your mind, that it's procedure,
No,
but it's not.
Not the,
It is not.
Well, it's just the way it's been done, I
it
guess.
says it in the handbook.
Which handbook are you referring to?
Trustees.
Right, the director can draft a policy and present to the board for review. So that's what I'm doing tonight. So again, going forward, I'm happy to give everyone a heads up that, you know, I'm looking to get this coming to you next month. I'm happy to do that going forward, but also to understand that I don't necessarily know 30 days in advance that I'm going to be looking at this so closely and moving this forward ahead of schedule. As things kind of escalate or the need for them.
And again, realize that we have to go through 2 votes,
Correct.
so we don't want to
No.
drag this out. I
Mm.
mean, this is important stuff in order to protect us and programs we do.
So,
Thank you.
so I would like, so I'm gonna, if I can ask again, what I asked before is part of this policy, do you feel isn't already in one of our collection development policies or otherwise? And also that my impression is that everything in here is in other policies, but that the staff recommendations piece might not be. Is that in any other policy that the staff can make recommendations of?
The staff recommendations are like our titles.
Sure, I understand what they
Right,
are, yeah.
so these are just rotating displays, and any display we have is sort of covered under.
But what is the
schools.
purpose of that line in here?
So
staff
to protect the staff.
To protect the staff, okay, how?
personal challenges, you know, or why would you
Some
do this
patron,
book, or-
some patron coming in with a complaint that the staff member recommended redfish, bluefish, and they
could
don't
be,
think it
yes.
should be
So-
part of the display.
But it's just, it's to inform folks that staff recommendations, reflect personal taste. You know, it's
Isn't
not.
the sign on the table, your staff recommends these books?
They also, I've seen this policy in many places, other places, like the
Mm.
opinions are not of like the staff.
That's, I think that's the point of this policy, and I think
Right.
you're right on that. The disclaimer. So now I go back to my question, and what Tim said is that I had asked us to put disclaimers on every policy. That's something I had learned and come to this group and said, here's some sample disclaimers, and let's put these at the bottom of our policies. And Tim put the nix on that because he said that disclaimers are of no value. They don't stop people from suing. They don't stop people from complaining, and that they're not valid. Which is why I asked Loretta to take that issue to our council so we can figure out, are disclaimers worthwhile or not?
Right, but Tim also said it is on record that all of our policies can be challenged, just because we have a policy, so you're kind of arguing.
Whether it has a disclaimer or not. So this is a disclaimer, so why do we bother having it? Our policy, our displays can be challenged. I mean, this says don't challenge displays because
It doesn't say don't challenge, it says that it's to protect staff, like, right, someone says redfish, bluefish, they don't like it.
Hmm.
Then it's.
that's not, this isn't going to stop them, as you said, this,
Right.
as Tim said, I'm sorry, as Tim said, this isn't gonna stop them from coming to Loretta and complaining that they don't, that book.
But at least we have a policy.
Right, and she can refer back to as policy 31 states.
And the policy says, and so I don't want to put words in your mouth, but according to this, would your answer to that patron be, well, this does not constitute for an endorsement or sponsorship by the library? Do you think that is going to be an answer to a patron? And do you think they will stop with you if that's what you say to them?
This policy is, the wording in this policy is just to say, our displays rotate. They're going to cover different themes, you know, Black History Month, Women's History, whatever it is. That these, it didn't go into the specifics of them all, but it's saying, you know, it's going to comprise the informational, cultural, recreational holdings of our collections that we've curated in alignment with policy 14. New acquisitions will just be displayed as a matter of course, but also too, we're going to be rotating out displays that are reflective of our ever-changing demographics, diversity of the community. Staff recommendations are also part of this.
Okay,
So
I
what
think we've
problem-
gone on
So-
long enough.
I just haven't gotten an answer to that. What problem does this solve with that?
We can't solve all the world's problems with our policies, we can't
Correct.
solve them, but it doesn't mean we shouldn't have them. Our policies, yes, all of them can be challenged, but there are reasons to have policies, because they give us some ground to stand on. It gives library staff the backing of the board. Once they're voted into effect, it gives the staff the backing of the board.
What
So-
backing does this give? I'm just not understanding, and I'm just not hearing you answer the question.
So it gives us. So rather than just staff saying, well, I created this display for, you know, Women's History Month.
Right.
And then it gets challenged, well, you know, for whatever reason, it could be for whatever reason.
Right.
And they come to the director saying, take your display down.
Mhm.
I can say, you know, we are promoting this month women's history. But if they keep challenging it and I don't have the backing of my board saying, no, keep that women's history display up, that's fine. You know,
Then then this policy should say the director and the board of library trustees has the final decision-making authority over displays.
I don't think, personally, I don't think the trustees should have
I don't even,
say on what the displays are. That's the library.
Oh, I totally agree with you, Susan.
So I don't think that should be included in the policy that the trustees.
Well, as we're the bosses of our director, so when our director says to a patron, well, and the library trustees support me on this, and that's why I think that
I
should
wouldn't
be.
say that, that's, you know, that, but the policy gives
Says-
staff the backing of the board. So, yes, thank you, Sylvia.
I think this is going on long
But if
enough.
it's that's what a policy does, they're voted in by the board, so any policy is going to be supported by the board, because it's voted in by the board.
I'd like to get a motion on policy 31, please.
I make a motion that we wait on policy 31 until we've had a chance to rewrite it and rethink it. I second that.
I'm happy,
Because I
and
haven't,
Allison, you haven't really had a chance to talk to me about your ed, so if you want, this is an opportunity to do that, so.
I don't do that. I don't want to do that.
I don't think that it's right that you think every single policy that you and Loretta need to work on. This is a full board. There
No,
are 5 of us. I know that we were appreciative of it, but in this situation where there's a small little policy, we should all be able to say and vote and move on.
I think we should have time to look at this, because I honestly, I have to say, Donna, that I thought it, because it was brand new, that Loretta was gonna ask us if we should, if it was okay to bring it forth, because this is brand new. That's what I thought. So I thought we were going to consider it and then have it brought to us next month. Honestly, that's what I thought, because it's never been before us before. And as you said, I have a misunderstanding about that, but that's the truth of the matter.
But it's not wrong to do what's being done. It's
didn't
not
say-
wrong to have the policy, have her bring the policy forward and have us discuss
I
it
didn't say that.
and vote on it.
I didn't say that. I just said that I haven't had the time to read it and perhaps edit it too.
We got this a few days ago.
No, just got it today.
And the other point is,
Policy
again,
was sent
it's,
us.
it's,
I was
It's-
not around.
it's two different policies. And both of them need 2 votes, 2 months. So if we vote on them now, if it passes, then you can do all the edits you want because we still need to pass it through a second time. So I don't want this delayed. This is extremely important with the volatility that's going on out in the world right now. So I'd like to have a motion.
I did make a motion.
Did anybody second it?
What were you, I forget what you said. Sorry.
I said that I feel that Loretta needs to really do some thinking on this and really explain to us what this will accomplish and what the language that she wants in it to accomplish something, and we should look at it again next month.
Somebody have a second?
Second,
All those in favor? All those opposed? Do we have another motion? I'll make
I'd
the
like to
motion.
make,
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion that we move this forward to our second vote for the next meeting.
Set policy number 31, and we can vote on number 32 at the same time.
Right.
Anybody have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
no,
No,
Okay, 3-2, let's move on. And Jackie's here, wonderful. Performance evaluation of the library director, her goals. Did everybody have a chance to look at these, we move these forward?
Donna, I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
I thought we did displays. Are we gonna do anything with the program?
I said we did 31 and 32 together.
Oh, okay.
All right, we pushed this forward a couple months, we talked about, strengths, the objectives and goals. Does anybody have anything that they wish to change or edit, or is this good as is?
so this is the 6 month, over the 6 month. one.
This is the 6 month, right?
What about the one you want?
Composite.
There's no composite because we were basically told that what we were saying was, not right. Yes, please.
As I mentioned at the last meeting that I appeared in front of, there was a numerical composite, and I unfortunately couldn't be at your last meeting to talk through updating these goals, so that's the goal of tonight, is to update the goals. And I think one of the things that I'd like to do is talk about, there's 9 of them, so I'd like to both update them and do some prioritization. Most of the department heads only get 5 goals, so I think it would be helpful for this group and for the director to kind of do like a top tier and a bottom tier of the 9. And then that would complete the composite with both the numerical and full setting. And then we'd be able to composite, but we're not doing a composite. And that's the point of information, is that I did provide the numerical composite, I just didn't do the commentary. So there's all of the numerical scores that we did, that we looked at when I was here last, and now we're gonna do the goals, and so that'll be the 2 components of the composite, so it'll be 2/3 of the sheets.
We won't get a list like we did of comments that support the score.
Not for this round, not for this evaluation.
Why
There
not?
will be,
Will be in the last one.
there will be the strengths and weakness, the development objectives and goals. But there was, as I said to everyone that I met with, there wasn't enough. We need to look at how we're communicating our feedback. And I met with many members of the trustees. I won't identify them, but I did meet with the majority of trustees. Unfortunately, I will say not Susan, because she was not here.
Oh, well.
But a majority of the, board that did the evaluation, and there was not enough evaluation there, and I said that I would come back and do the goals. That's what we're doing tonight for the goals.
Oh, I thought you said you would come back and do like you did last year. Let us know what people said overall.
The numerical items, which provide a lot of detail, yes, they're numerical scores, but they have very detailed categories that the numerical scores go with, and we're gonna do the goals, and then that way we can move on, and we're gonna do a training, I'm gonna make a training available to all of you before we do the next evaluation on how to frame commentary and how to provide commentary in an evaluation for an employee.
Now, I will say that I am one of the people that you sat down and met with. And my understanding when we went through what I wrote was that in fact, none of the things that I said would create any liability for the town. So I'm confused at why.
We're not gonna do this in public with individual people's comments. We're gonna focus on.
But I'm just saying, so
I'm not gonna,
why can't we do a composite? Like, I
I'm
don't,
not doing it.
but if 10
Not
people,
of the
if all
evaluation.
5 of us said we really liked the way she communicated, why can't we have composites that say what the bulk of us voted
Because
for?
there wasn't enough of that to do a composite. Can we move forward? Can we provide goals to the director that all 5 members of the trustees agree on, and provide this board the ability to move forward, is what I'm asking tonight.
And sweep it under the rug.
I'm not asking to sweep it under the rug, I'm asking to be productive with our time.
All right, let's move on. We have the goals on the second page. I think we should go and decide which ones are the most important to us. So does anyone have, we can renumber them, reword them, however we want to do it.
Well, can I say that?
Peek over your shoulder.
That's,
I have actually.
Oh, do you, because I thought I printed it, but I did not see it. I had the one that was, but these are the ones from September, right, Jack? So then I had the one from September, so those aren't different, are those different?
They should.
They were-
Oh, these are,
The last date was October 1st. That was the night we approved them.
this is a lot more wordy than mine is. Mine is very,
how does this compare to the 6-month goal?
This is the goals that this body adopted at your October 12th.
Well, that's what I did, it looks different, that's why I'm asking too.
Well, so which date are you pulling, Maria? Because we edited them twice. We
did
edited them in
edit them.
I have the
September,
final one.
so
I think this was the final one, the one that was abbreviated, but oh no, you haven't, well, you just got that.
yeah. So I have enough copies of this, like more expensive one for everyone. And so
Let's-
this photo will send
Let's work on that.
So
Yes, we can have it.
does everyone have this?
No, because I think I gave you mine on.
You did?
I don't know, I think so.
No, I don't have this one.
Well, it's always the same one.
Yeah, this is from the October 12th. That was the date on my
So
computer.
And this is the one you sent us?
Yeah, this is.
Is that the one that's real
Okay,
wordy?
that's right.
Can you- Well, that is sent us this one.
That's what I had my.
Right.
October as well, it's not what you got corrected.
But I wanna know what,
This is the September.
where's the October?
Because I pulled the ones from October 12th.
Oh, here's the October one.
Was yours at 10 and
I
mine?
thought we had done,
This is
I
the
thought
one
we,
from the October one.
Well, that's your page.
Loretta actually sent us that, and that's one.
I thought the
because I
one
don't
that
think
was
I-
abbreviated was the correct.
Yeah, so I have 9, but you have 9, but with different numbers.
Yeah, so I have this one, see, this is the one we finalized last time, and these are the 5 goals.
And they were short. Yeah, that, which is
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, so I think for the
Yeah.
purpose of the exercise, we have
It's
both.
getting confusing, Jackie.
Yeah, I apologize. So I have enough of the lengthier ones for everybody.
But can I just make it clear though, but if Loretta has for her own record something different, Loretta, I'm concerned that Loretta doesn't
Yeah.
have what she thinks is what was the final
I
one.
think she's pulling them up on the computer right now. Sure.
Because I mean, it's really you, she.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then she's pulling a password of mine.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay, so this one that Jackie sent has the same 9 that Loretta sent,
But they're abbreviated.
but they're abbreviated.
And I think we went with the abbreviated one. I think that was the whole idea.
Yeah. I think just making the point, yeah,
And that was the whole idea.
yeah.
Which is the date of 9/7. So this is what I pulled for the 10/12 meeting.
Which is, but this is the abbreviated one, is it? No, something next to that page. One more page.
This is one.
Okay.
Say these?
I have that,
I think the one-
Jackie, the one,
And there's actually a missing.
the one that Jackie's passed out is what I have.
This is what I had from 10/12, but we're just verifying that.
Does it mean this is 6 minutes?
Yeah,
We had a couple of iterations, so that's probably
Yes.
why.
But I do have the one that you just handed out, Jackie, from October 7th.
Okay.
But this is numbered wrong. There's a number 6 is missing. Oh, gee.
oh, yeah, you're right.
October 6th. No, it was October. It was the October 12th meeting.
Too much confusion here, ladies. Oh, there it is 5 and 5, you're right.
No,
The second page.
5
Is that-
and then it's 7. That's, it's just 5 year. So I have to change. It doesn't make.
Go with your data on this one. This one.
So folks, the one that has a missing number 6, but is not
Yes.
lengthier goals
Yes,
is the October one. So
that's
that's
what
what
I
I
thought. That's why I thought I had the wrong one, because that's the one I have, Jackie. from you.
Yeah, it's
You handed it to me.
Yeah, it's missing a number 6 for some reason. I don't know why. But it's a little bit more descriptive.
Yes, it is.
Well, and what do you want us to work from tonight?
Those,
The one that I
The one
handed
that she
out,
just
The
handed
one
you.
with missing number 6?
Yeah.
Right there, that one. Yeah,
Is that
we changed
the
that.
October
That should be, that should be 5, 6, 7, 8. Right?
So it's 8 goals, but number 9. So what I like
Okay,
to talk
all right,
about
so this
is,
is it.
For 7, 8.
and I'm just gonna go through them now, so that we're all on the same page. So the first is completing the MLIS agreement in the established timeframe. Second is attending in-person conferences and trainings, for example, through the PLA and MLA. The third is continue to develop a mentorship relationship with a longer tenured library director in the area. The fourth is to continue to develop and expand the collection across all areas, but between the collection and programming in particular. 5 was assess options to conduct a townwide assessment to evaluate patron priorities to inform and develop a 5-year strategic plan, including a 6-month check-in with the trustees on what options are available for this project. 6, which is number 7, is additional customer service, reference services, and technology training for staff, including library specific and municipality wide, acceptable for customer service to determine the future of the entrance via the feedback from the community survey, as well as other strategies developed by the director. Number 7, but number 8 is expand library hours in future budget, in particular Saturday and Sunday mornings with feedback on preferences from the community survey. And 9 is increase staff morale with additional training and appreciation events with the help of the trustees and friends. So that's 8 goals. I think first and foremost, the first question is, are there any goals that we want to amend before we prioritize? Are there any goals that need to be updated? Of course.
So I guess to me, there's a couple that are redundant. They both basically say the same thing and we can kind of combine them.
What would be your recommendation?
Like,
The
goals.
Number 4, to continue to develop and expand the collection across all areas kind of means tween. I mean, I know I've been the advocate for tween, but I don't think it needs to be singled out.
Okay.
And then if you look at what's the one with just doing, oh, maybe I'm getting it too
The
confused.
screen is by itself, that's
Was
why,
by itself.
that's why we combined it.
Yeah,
Because you
yeah,
still wanted it.
yeah.
So,
So
in
do
that
you want
case,
it in there or not then?
then do you want that to have?
I would just say across all areas.
So we'll.
Cross out.
Yeah.
Beyond, but.
Okay,
Yeah, but I think that's just included in all
Yeah.
areas.
All areas.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So that's 4 revised, kind of circling back, any revisions on one?
You're doing the goals only, not the
Yeah.
development.
Looking at goals.
Okay.
So I think number 1 is really straightforward. Is that
Yes. Yeah.
2?
Well,
good.
that was kind of a couple of these are kind of more 6-month goals. And I think that, Loretta understands the value of attending conferences and getting training and
So would
working
you get
on.
rid of it?
So I just don't think it's a goal. I think that, for example, some goals were forgotten, like we've asked her to do some, like, I love the strategic planning goal, that's important.
Well, may I?
Well, and I think that's why Alice, well, first and foremost, I
Mhm.
think 9 is a lot. Most of the department heads only get 4 or 5. That's why it's hard to do all.
Right.
things.
So I was
we
gonna
want
say,
to leave that.
Increase number 9, number 8, which is number 9, increase staff morale with additional training and appreciation. I think that's something Loretta, after her 6-month review, already took to heart and began working on. So I don't think we need that in a year.
So you're thinking 2 and 9 would be deleted.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'd like to add some more important
Isn't
ones.
2 under developmental objectives anyway? Use a number 2 under
Well, so
development.
the goals are meant to help you achieve the developmental objectives. So the objective is to do X. And the goals are meant to be tasks that get you to X.
That's, thank you.
or we could write on 2, continue to attend in
Like
person
that, under comes
conferences.
under.
I think that's what she, because we still want her to go to trainings and conferences.
It does say it on the.
On the developmental part, though, see, I think that goes under the developmental. I think a goal would be, for example, already, you had a lot of energy in website management this year, and I would like to see her get more understanding of website development.
So I think we'll leave 1 as is, 2, I just heard continue to attend.
I think instead of additional for 2 and 3, wouldn't you say continuing, because it's addition, it's not
Yeah.
additional.
So just sorry, just 1 at a time. So 2 would be continue, specifically website training was 1 you wanted to add for number 2.
Yeah,
Any other particular topic areas?
grant funding,
Okay. And how about, I'm sorry, Maria, you said continue for 3, would you continue to develop a mentorship relationship? Any other
Well,
amendments?
instead of saying the additional, because this is the 1 year, so it's kind of going on, so it's continuing, is all
Yeah.
that I was saying.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Any other amendments to 3? Okay, 4, we already edited.
Yeah.
5, obviously, we're gonna change the 6-month to the next 6-month check-in instead of 6-month check-in.
So how are we gonna phrase that, Jackie?
I'm going to delete, after including, I will delete the A and turn it into the next 6-month check-in.
Which is gonna be when, since we're doing it so late. How are we gonna do that?
So we'll just do it about 6 months from now, so that because I don't know if her contract calls for another 6 months. I think it's her next one, we're now in the annual cycle,
Mhm.
so we could do the next check-in and just delete 6 months.
well, see, I would like to suggest that the 6-month is valuable. Because with a review like, in the 2s and 3s, I think it's important to have another 6-month check-in.
I think I hear you, but it's important to have a check-in. I think a full-scale evaluation is not necessarily appropriate.
So how do we do a check-in with the trustees?
We can work on. Look, we do them, I do them on a regular basis for the employees at the 6-month mark if they have areas of concern. And we also do it with all of our employees that are about to need probation. So there's methodologies to do it. I don't think the full blown evaluation is appropriate at 6 months. Again, Because we now need to get into the cycle of what all the other full-time department heads are on, which is the annual. So I think, let me get back to you. I agree. We're gonna have a conversation probably October, November. That's probably about 6 months at this point. I don't think it's this full evaluation. I think we need to have a better strategic goal for that.
What did you just say about probation?
For new employees, not for current employees, but for new employees, they go on probation period, but you can't take vacation in their first 6 months while they're.
So that's what the one we did in October was.
Correct,
Gotcha.
because that was something that goes into the contract
Okay,
initially, because we're also living by the director's contract.
okay.
So think 5, we made those small adjustments of including the next check-in with the trustees. 7 as numbered was additional customer service, any amendments to 7?
Well, that second sentence is missing. A sub goal for customer service is to be determined,
Is to determine, I think,
is
Not
to determine.
determine the future of the amendment.
Okay, there you go.
I didn't know that was even being discussed. It hasn't even been brought up in this group, but
I believe you discussed it extensively.
I highly applaud.
Yeah, you talked about it extensively in August, September, and October.
I don't remember that far back, but yay.
Yeah, so, item 8, expand library hours, any amendments to that item? Okay, and then number 9, we had said increase staff morale with additional
We
training.
crossed that out.
Yeah, we crossed that out.
So we have 7.
I don't know, where does, expanding outreach to the prison and the schools, which was on the 6th month, but seems to have
Is it
disappeared.
on the objective on the current group? And, let's see, I think I probably said something here.
Yeah, it's on the
It's
development.
number three, under development, right?
But I think I want to slow us down because part of this exercise was to concentrate on 5 specific goals.
Right.
I applaud adding goals, but I also want,
Okay.
part of the reason why I think 9 goals is challenging is it's really not a manageable amount of goals.
That's 97.
I mean, we have gotten it down to 7, I'd like to see us prioritize 5, and then have 2 that are kind of lower priority. If not, if we don't feel like we can cut the 5, I'd like to at least tier, you
We
know,
got-
maybe 3 or 4 that are the top tier.
I
and 3
see
or 4.
6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We didn't delete 2. We kept 2.
Oh, why don't we delete 2? We just-
Because other
we did
members,
9.
including you, said that we would make it continue to, and then we added specific
I
website.
didn't, I thought we were combined, I thought we were gonna make continue to develop mentorships. And attend conferences. I thought we were gonna make two or 3 kind of together.
I don't think that serves the purpose of creating prioritization, but I'd be willing to hear more feedback. I think we want to try to get to 5 very clean, understandable goals that are actually achievable. Yes.
Well, I'm willing to delete 2, yeah.
So I think I'd like to hear from.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, so go right ahead.
Expand library, hours and future budgets. Isn't that kind of unrealistic?
As
Because,
a goal in 6 months,
yeah,
I'd say.
I mean,
But she can begin to work, so maybe we want to rephrase it. Work towards expanding library hours and future budgets.
I mean, the size of this town, we're well over what the expectation is for a library this size.
And also, given we didn't get the 2 additional staff members that we had to put in the budget for, I feel like for the 6 months, it's just not.
I'm happy to put it till next year.
So item 8, we're going to delete, but like hang on to the language.
Yeah, maybe for next year.
Okay.
Number 7 it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I was just calling it what it was under on the
So
paper.
we're gonna delete that.
You're getting rid of 7?
I mean, you're right,
Now,
Susan, she can't
David,
possibly
now that-
accomplish this in 6 months when there's no
You got it.
I
budget
mean,
process.
and the way the budget looks for the next 7 years, I would say
Oh, let's.
it's been a none.
Okay, so hearing that we're down to 6, which is great. I don't know, I want, so the question is, do you want to delete 1 more, or do you want to do some prioritization?
I would like to do some prioritization, because that might help us see what we can delete.
And other, what are the others saying?
Well, the whole number 4, where we're continuing to develop and expand the collection across all areas, that's always happening. And why would you have a 6-month period in that? That's something that's constant. and really doesn't need to be a goal. In my eyes.
So I think you're right, Donna. I think it's probably two separate things, but that. Where can that 6-month checkup be moved to? If it doesn't belong under a townwide assessment?
If I may,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean you can't assess it, it just means it's not one of the 5 goals.
I don't
So,
think it needs
I
to be
think
a
the
goal.
goals, to think about it, are areas in the job description where it's going above and beyond what the job description calls for. And or areas that, like, because of time constraints, weren't expanded in that year. So that is a goal similar to the other one, what was 8, that we can hang on to the language, because we know that's something to think about, but we don't have to have it as one of the goals. So you don't lose the ability to consider it because it's not in the goals.
Okay.
It gives clarity to the director of how it's important for a staff person to know, like, I have to prioritize so many things in a given week. I have 40 hours, usually a little more, that I'm trying to get everything done, and I need to have some understanding without having to go to my board at every meeting to know what I should be spending my time on. And there are certain things like, oh no, the roof is leaking, that of course, like, rise to the level of urgency, or things like payroll is due tomorrow, that certainly you have to review that and turn it in on a timely basis. But the goal is for when those urgent things aren't happening, when you're trying to be strategic with your time about, like, I can only do so much in a day, I can only do so much in a week. These goals fill that gap from the non-urgent or tasks, the non-HR tasks, the non-facility tasks. But we know those things are gonna come up, they're gonna take time. The website being down being a good example, and you can't ignore that. That is like a metaphorical fire burning that you need to tend to and put out. But the goals are there just to plan for the time when there's nothing burning and you're trying to determine how you're gonna spend your time. So that's something to think about.
So I think right now we have 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. Those seem to be the 5. that we have.
The continuing to develop and expand the collection across all areas. Oh, no, no, no.
That's constant.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. So
Okay, wait a
5
minute.
goals.
1. No, 2 we got rid of.
No,
No,
no, 1, 2, 3,
5 and 6.
and 6.
Those are the 5 goals.
And this is 6, that was 7?
Yes.
6 foot 7.
Okay,
7, 8.
all right. So Donna, you just talked about assess options. I would like to make that number 1.
Okay, so now we're not numbering for understanding, we're numbering for priority.
Right.
So that's priority 1 is assess options to. Is
Is
that
that
what
the
we consider?
consensus across the board?
Let me read it. I think that is
I
very
think that is-
important. Yeah, I do too.
Okay, so number 5 becomes number 1 in prioritization.
Yes.
What is number 2?
Additional.
Complete the MLIS degree.
That's gonna happen.
I think
in another
That's,
couple
but
months.
that's critical, so.
So we'll put that as number 2, because we probably know that won't be on the next one because of the expected December 23 graduation date. So that is number 2. I am seeking a number 3.
Which is number 6, the additional customer service investment.
Is that what you're suggesting? for
I was
3?
thinking that whatever the consensus is.
Yep, that sounds good, actually.
Yeah, additional customer service references, which is whatever, was 7, was 6, and now it's 3.
Now, we're doing great.
Keep that
It's
straight,
like a game show, but there's no real.
spin the wheel.
Oh, and that includes the front entry is number 3. Oh, I like that very much.
Great.
So,
Now we're down to mentorships and conferences
so we can just do 4 and 5,
For 2 and 3.
2 and 3.
before and 5.
Yeah.
2 is 4 now and 3 is 5, right, guys?
Yep,
Okay,
Yes,
great.
that was good.
That was solid, everybody. So I will revise these and reorder them
Okay.
and send them to you.
Good to you, Loretta. And so Jackie, then the next, so it can be clear, because I wasn't real clear.
Yeah.
The next review is when?
So in further contract, the next full review with this document is the annual, which is right. No, now we go back to the fiscal year cycle that all the other departments are on,
Which will be when then?
between our meeting and the end of the fiscal year.
Sure, okay.
So when all of the
No more
departments.
January.
No more January. So that's where we will do in October, November, we'll create what the strategy is for the 6-month check-in, because it is in the contract that, like, 6 months before the annual performance review or review of the goals and conversations happen. That's
When?
October, November, depending on how.
Oh, this
busy-
year.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
depending on
Okay.
how busy your agendas are, that would be up to the
Because
chair.
we're behind on this one. I got it.
And
Okay.
then that way, that also feeds us up to if November, if it's October, November, do the check-in on the goals. Then another 6 months from then is May, which is when the annual review would come up, so it gets us on to the website.
Thank you.
I would just ask as a kind of clarification, if this is something that you would like to go ahead on,
That you're gonna edit those. I'll make a motion that Jackie will edit the goals as we set forth. I do not want to go through the numbering. I'm gonna do it.
no, I appreciate that, I'll send that out this week.
Who wants the second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Great.
Thank you.
And let me know at your convenience, I can do it kind of during regularly scheduled meetings, if the chair is okay with it, or I can do it as an on-cycle, training on how to do performance evaluations as an elected official for, full-time staff. I'm gonna make that training available. And for your convenience, I can do it on during your regularly scheduled meeting, or we can do it on an off-cycle day. If you just let me know, by the end of the summer what your preference is, and I'll get that arranged. And that way we'll be good to go when the 6-month check-in comes up, and then the annual review next May.
We do the training during one of our meetings.
Yeah, that's what I'm offering, so that it's
I like that.
convenient, yeah. I just that way, you won't have to come anyway, so I'll just roll you right in. I think we could also start like an hour earlier if you didn't want to take up your entire agenda for that.
That's almost impossible. I teach a class before the meeting.
Okay, understood. So then I'll discuss with the chair and get your availability, and by the end of summer, we'll walk out and schedule.
During one of our regular meetings.
Well,
Give it
that's
that.
amenable to the chair. Is that okay, Donna?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
People walked into the library and seen their board of flyers. I just collected a bunch for you. I can't, but you keep them because I'm going to use them. Aren't they marked?
right. Jackie, thank you very, very
You
much.
do, but I just was so excited.
All right, let's move on. President's report. I don't think I have good, I didn't get anything from Tim, so we're gonna have to wait till next time. I will get. the
Where's
full-
my agenda?
Your agenda may be.
So we're to, Loretta, the director's report,
Thank
please.
you, Chair.
Thank you.
So I have copies of the circulation and budget report for anyone that would like one.
Yes, please.
Do you also need budget reports as well? No.
I do.
Sorry, circulation report.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
budget
do.
report.
I do.
Circulation reports, anyone else? That's all.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So first, we'll take a look at the green sheet for those that have the printed handout, the circulation report. So it's pretty straightforward. We're seeing our circulation staying strong. We're trending higher than we were last fiscal year. So again, we're still moving in the right direction. Our circulation is 5,993 over last year, and our attendance is still staying strong. And we're 5,029 more this year than we were last year. So again, we are moving in the right direction. You will notice that the May column, May FY 23, it's missing the meetings. We are missing some attendance numbers on some of the meetings, so you'll get that reported to you next month.
Where are we looking? Attendance?
Attendance down at the bottom, there's an empty square for May. May 20, FY 23,
On the second page.
there's a
May.
blank square for meetings,
Okay.
so it's not able to give you the number of meetings.
May,
And we don't have to sign that.
May.
Down towards
May
the bottom.
23.
See, up here?
Correct. So that will be reported on June's report.
Thank you.
Any questions on the circulation report? Okay, fabulous. Moving on to the budget report. We have 1 month left. We have this month left of our fiscal year, so you can see that our funds are being spent down.
No problem. Take me away.
Hi, Annie, welcome.
It's finally, do I need to bring in at 3 o'clock? I should be.
Do we have one right here at the table, Annie?
Yeah, she'll have to.
I'll just.
Thank you, Jackie.
So we're,
Oh,
Sorry.
so we're well on target for our line items. We'll see that we're starting to get into the negatives on a few of them, but we have funds left over within those line, categories for them. So we're in good shape. It's no, as long as there's no unforeseen building expenses, we're in good shape. So I do want to note, you'll see there's 2 columns for May. The first one has a $100 credit. It looks like a negative, but it's actually because it's revenue account for our materials expenditures. We had a patron donate $100 to our book funds for e-content in memory of a patron. So that was credited into our materials budget. So that's reflected in that first May column. The second May column shows all of our expenditures for the month. Any questions on the budget report? Okay. Moving on. So included in the packet were the attachments for the staff training workshops. You'll see that there were 3 staff members that took advantage of the trainings available in May.
I didn't print it out.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And I'm happy to take any questions on that. There are none. I'll move on to the next item.
Can you just give me 30
Sure,
seconds?
absolutely.
Hmm?
So Adrian and Paige are our 2 newest team members. So you'll see that they took advantage of 2 of the MBLC trainings for cataloging and Blue Cloud serials, which is the software that we use for our serials, our magazines, our newspapers, for cataloging those. So. Any
That was like at MDLC.
correct. Yeah, MBLC. Any questions? Is everyone done looking at that document? We'll move on. Okay, perfect. So Library Journal is hosting its annual Director Summit again this year. This year it will take place in Houston, Texas on Thursday, November 9th and Friday, November 10th. I did register for that event. The cost of the actual workshop, the 2-day workshop, is free. Just the cost of airfare, hotel, and a car to get there. So the cost of that would be $1,371.77.
Say that again.
$1,371.77.
That's for the flight and what,
That includes flight, hotel, and rental car.
why do you need a rental car? Generally, aren't they right in the same place you're staying? I'm not sure.
The airport, I have to get to the conference from the airport.
But you can just take a Uber from,
So from the hotel to, I'm not staying, the hotel that I got a better deal for Costco travel to go a hotel there than actually the conference where it's being the hotel adjacent to. So it's not, the library itself is hosting the event. It's not in a hotel. The Houston Library is hosting. So, so we'll have to drive. But all in all, there is cost savings. So
I'm sorry, so by renting a car and not staying at where they're asking or suggesting you stay is cheaper?
I'd still need transportation.
because it's not at the hotel.
Right.
It's at the library.
Right,
So
we
it's
understand
in
that.
the library.
But I didn't know how close the hotel is to the library.
Well, it's Houston, so it's not gonna be close.
No.
No idea,
Yeah, Houston. So.
no idea, just try to avoid extra expenses.
And what is this, November, did you say?
So November 9th and November 10th.
Question, so you said airfare, hotel, rental car,
Correct.
are you planning to eat?
$1,371.77.
What's about food?
I'm willing to buy my own food.
She doesn't eat much.
I was gonna say.
That's not true, but I will be paying for my own food.
has it in the past been paid for by the library?
So the hotel breakfasts, I was taking advantage of those were great, those were.
Correct,
included.
great,
And then lunch is provided at the
excellent, okay.
summit itself, so it was really just dinner and I just ate 2 lunches. That was fine, so. I went back to seconds for lunch. And I was fine.
Donna,
Yes, ma'am,
I would like our director to be able to eat dinner.
it would be nice.
I'm not a big dinner person, really, and if I needed it, I would ask. I genuinely would, if I needed it, I would ask.
Because I'm willing to allocate some money there for you to eat some dinner.
Nope, it's okay. Really.
We'll send her with the bag of apples.
Oh, yeah, okay.
If I go out to eat.
If you go out to
Say
eat,
the receipt, and I will
please.
bring it to the board for reimbursement.
Thank you. I've done the same thing you're doing at many conferences, and I just feel dinner is important.
So what are you suggesting for?
So I am requesting state aid funds
for
for this, yes.
Do we need to make?
And we haven't had a state aid payment for a while, right? We'll be, getting one.
We get 2 a year, we receive both.
We have gotten.
Oh, you
Correct.
that was Virginia report.
So where are?
State aid
State
received.
aid.
The April payment, I'm sorry, that is reflected in the budget report.
We're still at 124, so
in
we still have
December-
a lot of money.
Right, in December, we received $9,855.18.
Mhm.
And then in
I'll make a
April,
motion to accept to pay for your trip.
From
Have a
state
state
aid.
aid.
State aid.
thank you.
Somebody want to second it?
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
State aid on here.
Thank you.
Where is state aid on here?
So in this sort of middle section here, so these are all the payments that we deduct on each warrant. These are the deposits that get added in.
Okay.
So,
This is why I won't be trying to.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
thank you, board, for that support.
You're welcome.
Um,
Don't forget.
Just giving a heads up to the board. PLA, Public Library Association, it's a division of ALA. They meet once every 2 years. The topics that they cover, because they are covering public libraries and that to me is more valuable than the ALA meetings. A lot of the ALA resources are, and what they discuss at the meetings are available on their website, but I think it's important to network with my peers in public libraries. So every 2 years, I would like to attend the PLA conference. They are scheduled to meet again in 2024, April 3rd through April 4th. So just kind of giving a heads up to the board that I would like to attend. And that one's in Columbus, Ohio.
I'm going there this summer.
Are you?
I am.
I've actually never been to Columbus.
It's come.
No.
It's come up.
I've lived there.
So,
The road system has been approved.
All right.
so again, I don't have dollar amounts for that one yet, but
We just forward.
as we get closer to, I would like to ask the board for.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to building updates. So repairs to the technology in the meeting room are scheduled to take place next month, so starting in July. The town will provide $24,000 of PEG funds towards that project. The library will provide $1,500 from operating budget. FY23 operating budget. I will encumber those funds so that we can pay the bill once we get it in FY24. The trustees, as you know, you agreed to pay $7,424.32 of state aid towards the project.
Yep.
I presented the proposal to the Friends and they generously agreed to provide up to $7,500 towards the project. So
Thank you.
between all 4 funding sources, we have the full project funded. That being said, this was based off of an estimate. Once they get in there and they start kind of opening up the walls and running some wires, the actual cost of the project could change.
And what is it exactly is it being fixed?
What is it?
What exactly is being fixed?
The technology in the meeting room. So
Okay.
the outlets that we have
Yeah.
in the walls are actually broken,
Right.
not to mention outdated. So that will be upgraded. The projector will be upgraded, replaced, repaired. And the speakers will be taken care of as well. We are reusing what we can, but a lot of that equipment is 15 years old, so it's just outdated and not compatible with what is currently being used.
Our monitor, do we have monitors or anything?
We have what?
Monitors? Screen? Do we need?
So we'll have right now, the system is controlled in that back sort of closet, for lack of a better word, storage closet. The new system will have a touch screen out front that anyone using the meeting room can control the projector, the sound from the touch screen. So they don't have to go into the locked closet to gain access to the features that they're trying to use for their meetings.
Very good. Any screens or anything older than I have been told. My TV's 8 years old and it needs to be replaced, so I'm kind of learning that that's a budget cost we have to figure
So
out.
no computer screens or anything, but we will be installing a new touch screen. Recently, we had ENE, our HVAC company, come to the library. They switched us over from heat to AC, so thank you for that on this hot day. While they were here, they took a look at all of our equipment. They performed preventative maintenance while they were here. So we have units out on that outside wall between the library and the fire station. We do have branches of trees growing over those units. So in the fall, they were losing leaves into the equipment itself. So they recommended that we trim back those branches. I reached out to the DPW and they said they will use their equipment that they have to trim them back as far as they can this summer. So I understand that if it needs to go further, if they can't do the full job, they will have to get someone else in, but we're incurring costs for that. So stay tuned. Hopefully they'll get it, cut back to an acceptable length and that it's not hanging over the equipment, but we'll see. Additionally, our boiler was inspected. I presented this last year and I said it would pass and then it decided to quit on us. So I hope I'm not jinxing it again, but it passed the inspection last month. I did replace our battery operated CO detectors with wall plug-in ones. So now they're wired to run and they have a backup battery. So they're a bit more reliable than the battery operated ones we have. So, and that's an improvement that we've installed in the library. So
Are they properly placed? Have we had the fire department notice?
Actually, it was our security company that came in.
It just told us where they ought to be. Good.
So carpets and upholstery are scheduled to be professionally cleaned this Friday and Saturday. They're spreading it over 2 days. It's to allow enough time for the carpets to clean before we reopen. We are closed Sunday and Monday, Sunday for Father's Day, Monday for Juneteenth. So reopen on Tuesday and hopefully everything will be dry and we'll be ready to go. We won't have anyone stepping on soaking wet carpets. They will be clean. So updates on programming. Sorry. Go
The
ahead.
windows. Can
Oh,
we
so-
talk about those windows?
Yes.
And what we're gonna do?
So part of the FY, so
24.
part of FY 24 is to have a building needs assessment performed. In part of that review, I will be bringing up several building concerns that I have. We do have some areas in the roof that leak. They're small right now, we're managing them, but it obviously cannot burn. We're missing sleep, shingles on our roof, some of them have fallen off, that needs to be repaired, and also some of the copper trim around the building. There's damage to that, and the gutters on the original building have actually, they're so old, they've actually rusted out in their holes. And then, so, our building needs a little bit of TLC, but again, that will all be assessed in the FY 24 budget. Another issue is our windows in the original building that are in the mezzanine, those small square windows. I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with that. So those windows, the ones facing the fire department, they see a lot of weather and sun. So those sills are starting to rot, which our general contractor who does a lot of off and ends around the library. He recommended that we get someone in to professionally replace them. So that will be part of FY 24. So that in FY 25, when we put FY 25 budget together, we have all the fund requests in that we need. There is, I mean, the building's old, so we just have to keep up with it. So programming updates, Jackie Rusin is asking for volunteers, anyone interested in helping out with some of the programs. Specifically 2 dates. Friday, June 23rd, we have our summer reading kickoff. It's going to run from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. But we're looking for help with setup and cleanup. So 9:30 to 1:30, if anyone's available on that Friday, June 23rd, between 9:30 and 1:30, we would love for you to stop in and help out. Additionally, the same times are requested on Thursday, July 20th for our teddy bear picnic. The program, it's a fun one. So again, the program will run 11 to 1,
And what's the date
but
again?
requesting
July 20th.
set up from 9:30 and then break down to 1:30. So
And that's
9:30 to 1:30.
July 20th.
Thursday, July 20th.
The 23rd.
It's on the newsletter too, right? It's all in the newsletter too, right?
It will be, so the June newsletter is already out and that's in there. But July's newsletter is not yet out,
But it
so
will
just
be in
giving
there.
everyone a heads up.
Yeah, but all that will be in there too, right?
Correct, all of that is advertised.
And we just email Jackie directly.
Yeah, that would be great. Reach out to Jackie directly, Jackie Rusin.
Jackie,
Rusin, Rouussin. She is our children's programming firm. So the library hosted our kindergarten classes this past month, which was absolutely wonderful. I look forward to it every year. It's great having the kiddos come in and they get so excited for it. So it's a great opportunity for them to kind of, for many of them, it's their first time coming to the library. So to see their library, meet their librarians and get their first library card. So
I was scared that like a couple days after, and this little boy came and he's like, I'm so excited to use my library card. And mom was like, because you went on the field trip, and it was the cutest thing.
yeah,
And he's begging
I
you.
mean, and we sell it too, you know, we're official library patrons, and they're like, it's my official library, and they come back that night.
Yeah,
So excited to get their library card.
Yeah.
So I already told them I hope to partner with them again next year because it is a great opportunity. For us and the kids.
Which school was this?
It was kindergarten.
All the kindergartens in
For
both
Fuller
schools?
Meadow,
Oh, it's only Fuller Meadow.
right, kindergarten was at Fuller Meadow.
Okay.
So it was nice, they take a bus here, there's 2 police officers and a cruiser, and then they get to tour the fire department too, so they're all kind of centrally located at the
They took a
library.
nice picture.
It
I was
was-
walking by and they took a nice, I
Yeah.
hadn't taken a picture.
It's great.
In front of the police.
Oh, man, if you had the fire department, everybody's. going
Yeah.
to-
With fire, police,
Yeah.
library, and then they walked to the post office.
Cool, nice.
I was nervous, but they did great, the kids listened,
They do, they
stayed in
know.
their line with their chaperones, but
They know the move.
yes. So it was a great day, and like I said, I already told them that we hope to participate again next year. So speaking of participation, we were invited, as I mentioned, a few meetings ago, the Tri-Town Pride Picnic was held Sunday, June 4th. We had 207 people visit our tent. So despite the rain, the day was enjoyed by those in attendance. So we've already received several positive messages by patrons coming into the library that had attended and also via email. So happy we were invited to be there. I'm happy we were one of the 3 libraries that got to show up. So it was a great event.
It absolutely, the staff, I went and absolutely the staff was wonderful. It was the most popular library of the 3. The 3.
What were the 3?
Foxford.
The top 3.
Oh, the
Attraction.
yeah.
And absolutely, it was a wonderful showing for the library. I can't say how impressed I was.
But may I ask Loretta, though I know that you didn't have any presents for literacy, any books there or anything for them, regardless of the rain, the tent was there. Why didn't we have any books there? That would have been important to.
So the original plan was to have books there and to circulate. We have our tablet and our handheld scanner and our hot slots that you can see up there. So the original plan was to circulate library materials there, but the forecast was rain and wind. And when you have that combination, it comes through sideways and we don't have walls for our tent. I'm not gonna ask for that. So you get wet under that tent, regardless of whether it's up. So at that point in inclement weather like that, it's a great advertisement to have our logo out there and our slogan, but it's really not offering much protection at that point. So.
And it was costly. I mean, you sent me, I have the report. It was quite a bit for staff cost and for material, well, $650.
So that as mentioned in my email, that cost, you are adding in cost from the Friends as well. So.
I didn't add in anything. It was your report.
Right, so I'm happy to bring that report up.
It was about $500 for 3 staff members overtime, 4 hours, and about $127 for materials for the buttons, and $27 or $26 for the stickers.
So
So
I
about
will-
$652.
So the cost that you're referring to,
Mhm.
the cost of the buttons and the button maker, and I'm reading directly from the email that I did send
Yes.
as part of the records request.
Yep.
The cost of the buttons and the button maker was $125.99, $125.99, and was paid for by the Friends of the Flint. The Friends of the Flint sponsored the program through previously purchased items as well, such as the tent and the beanbag chairs. However, no, that is not in there, I added that. Stickers, quoting, stickers and temporary tattoos totaling $25.97 were paid from the library's operating budget. To Maria's point, we did pay staff time and a half to be there. They are full-time employees, so any hours worked over 40 hours, they are entitled to time and a half. So the cost to have 3 staff members there, time and a half, was $307.92.
It was more than that based on the numbers you provided, because you paid them overtime. It was like $500 for staff. I may have added it up wrong, but it looked like $500. But regardless, $400 or $500 is a lot, I think, for it to be in another town and not promote literacy, because that's what we are, a library. I know you're saying the tent had the label on it, but regardless of rain, there should have been some literacy display, not just buttons and pins and such. That didn't mention the library.
Well, so and if you don't mind, so again, the original plan was to circulate library materials.
Yes.
We registered for the event weeks before
Mhm.
the actual date, and then the weather forecast
Well,
changed.
no one can predict
So,
the weather, no question.
It's understood that if we attend an event like Earth Day, I did not bring materials to Earth Day either, because it was
Because it
wind
was
and rain.
horrendous
It
that
was
day.
wind and rain.
Yeah.
So, there are opportunities to have the library get engaged with our community, and we'll take advantage of those. When we're invited to attend, we will attend. So
And you didn't have a presence for Memorial Day. In our
we
town.
weren't invited by the patriotic committee to attend,
Mhm.
but also too, that's a long weekend and many of the staff go away.
But I
So-
think I'll be honest with you, I feel very strongly about representing on Memorial Day to honor our veterans who served our country.
I
who fought-
attended.
I think I'm sorry. No, just give me one moment here. I think it's very important that we have a presence there at the Memorial Day, because it's right on our lawn, that we should have been there. And I hear what you're saying. It's a long weekend. Maybe people were tied up. You're telling me no staff member was available.
So Aniela came on her own time, our circulation.
Okay, that's great. But if you didn't have people, for example, I mean, we know Memorial Day is every May 30th, so you easily could have asked the board if they were interested in being there or something. I just think it's very important that it's our town, very important day for this country. It's on the front lawn. We should have had a presence there. And to go to another town for Pride, was it Pride picnic? I'm sorry, it was Pride parade.
It's a picnic.
Picnic.
There was a parade beforehand, but
Yeah.
it's a picnic that we were in the.
But not do something here in our town is, we're missing something there, and that shouldn't be missed.
We don't, so whenever we are invited,
Mhm.
we're there. And
We don't need
obviously,
to
as
be
trustees
invited.
members, you don't need me to tell you you can attend these.
No, but
events.
we
You
don't
can
need to be
absolutely
invited to
attend these
Memorial
events.
Day. It's on our lawn,
So-
Greta.
I was
Right.
there. I mean, I
Thank
was
you.
there.
Right, but I'm saying
Were
as
you
a
there?
presence, I was away.
Oh, right.
I had a funeral. I'm sorry, I was.
I mean, that's,
passed away.
but what I'm saying
Um,
is
So
that,
don't debate on that, please. I had a family.
no, I'm not debating, but I was there. So do you want to say,
Representing the library as a trustee.
I didn't have my sign on?
I'm talking about, when I said, ask the board members, Susan, I was saying that Loretta said that no staff members were available to be representing the library. She could have reached out to the staff, to the board and asked us. None of my people are available that long weekend. Are any of you available to have the tent up or to do something for Memorial Day, to have books on veterans, to have some presents?
Well, we are there for Veterans Day.
So
Memorial Day is very.
I think having a personal presence, I will agree. Memorial Day is very important.
Very.
But also too, if staff are away with their families and they're taking care of their graves for their loved ones, I'm not gonna ask them.
I
to
didn't
connect.
ask you that, Loretta. I
Correct.
said, reach
I'm
out
not-
to the board.
Right, so so, and
Going
if
forward.
in Memorial Day, I'm happy to do that, but I am here on Veterans Day, every Veterans Day, I am here. Every 9/11 ceremony, I am here. Every Earth Day, every Chief Will's Day, every Winter Festival, every Pumpkin
Yeah, you are
Festival,
the
I'm
director,
here.
no question.
So Memorial Day, we did miss. But again, I'm in Maine with my family and we're doing graves that weekend, so, if anyone, and I'll open it up on the floor right now, if anyone on the board would like to be here Memorial Day weekend, please absolutely feel free. I will not be here Memorial Day weekend. It is not because I do not support all that Memorial Day is. I 100% do, but I'm taking care of my family and their graves. So I'm opening it up as a formal request. If anyone would like to be here Memorial Day next year, please do. I would love for anyone to be here to represent the library. So,
Yes, thank you.
Anything else?
continuing on with my director's report, just some quick notes. The library, as mentioned earlier in my report, the library is closed Sunday, June 18th for Father's Day. And
Is that on
Monday,
our list?
Monday, June 19th is
It
Mother's
is.
Day and Father's Day. Monday, June 19th for Juneteenth.
Definitely.
As a reminder, the library begins summer hours starting July 1st, which means we are closed Mondays. And we close early on Fridays at 2. Therefore, during July and August, we will meet the second Tuesday of the month instead of Mondays.
What's the date for?
July 1st, starting July 1st, which
When the
is
summer hours start.
Saturday, but
That's okay.
for July, we go to office.
So say that again about board meetings?
We'll meet the second Tuesday of the month.
It's always the second Tuesday in the during the
Right.
summer
So
hours.
it's noted on the agenda. It will be the Tuesday in July,
And August, and August as well?
July and August.
And that's it, then September.
Correct. Then September, we're back to regular hours and we'll meet on Mondays.
And the summer reading program for both the kids and the adults starts June 23rd.
June.
Is that correct?
June 20th. Kick off June
June.
20th.
June 20th. I thought it said June 23rd.
I'm sorry, so, so we focus our events that week. The kids are out of school starting the 20th.
Okay.
Kick off. The official kickoff is the 23rd.
And then start reading.
All
right. Are you finished?
One moment, I just want to double check.
I was say about the summer reading kickoff too, that was wonderful that you brought it to the schools because it put in all the kids' backpacks, so they came with that.
Good. Thank you.
So again, the week of the 20th, that Tuesday when we open, that's kind of our focus on summer reading, but our kickoff starts the 20th, our kickoff program is the 23rd.
Okay, thank you.
What's the theme this year?
Find
Your voice, find your voice.
Find your voice, which is a wonder.
The handouts are right at the desk. You can grab them.
I certainly will, thank you.
You're all set with that, Allison.
Yes, I think I found my voice, yes,
Find your voice, summer term.
I did.
That's it for my report. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, way past. Anybody have a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you to our guests. It was great to have you.